Welcome to the Dr. Erin Show. May you live your truth. Good morning, live from Los Angeles, California. This is Dr. Erin, Doctor of Divinity, teaching universal law and spiritual truths. And today's topic is how to love with boundaries. And I know that if you are in any Western culture, whether it be America, Europe, anywhere, there is major dysfunction in our relationships. So very common. So one day I had a client come to me and she sat down and she said, I just really want some spiritual therapy, basically counseling. And we sat down and I said, what's going on? And she proceeded to tell me about her boyfriend that she'd been with for some years. And she began to complain over and over about what he did and how he did this and how he said this and how he took this pill and how he said mean things to her one day and on and on. And I listened to her for, some time. And then I realized that the primary relationship is always within. Every relationship is literally a projection and a reflection of what's going on within our own consciousness, within our own ability to actually love ourselves, our ability to love or our inability to love. And it's come very clear to me within my own healing and with working with clients and just having girlfriends around and having guy friends around and listening to all their stories around relationships. I think this is a very important topic, that how do we love and set boundaries? Because I really believe that it's one of our highest spiritual practices here is to be individual and to be connected to everyone and allow people to have their own expression in this life. And the reality is that there probably is not one human being on this planet that's not going to upset you if you have no boundaries. So what's fascinating about boundaries is I actually want to sidetrack for a minute and say that, did you know that the origin of the definition of evil has to do with when something is out of bounds? So for example, the sun would be considered evil if it were too close to the earth, right? So any human being in any relationship, if you entangle, if you enmesh with them, it becomes dysfunctional. I don't care who that person is. Maybe there's, one person on this whole planet that you could really mesh with and it would really work out. And maybe people call that soul flames, twin flames, soulmates. But I'm here to say that I don't necessarily believe in that, because I believe that you can only really have that if you've really truly healed and developed yourself. So how do I know this? Because to get very vulnerable, years back, I sat my ass down in coda. And I don't know if you guys know what that is, but that is a 12-step program for codependency. And at that point in time, my life was pretty much in shambles due to a dysfunctional relationship I was in. And I realized that learning how to unconditionally love another while loving myself was one of the most challenging lessons I'd ever learned in this lifetime. And it really came from a long lineage of codependency. And I think that majority of people are codependent in our culture due to seeing movies where there's this, delusional happily ever after thing, and where, the women sometimes we wait for, someone to show up on a white, horse and whisk us off and save our life and make it all better. And just putting and placing our happiness conditioned upon our relationship. And that's who I was. I was somebody who, when my relationship was good, I'd be happy. When it wasn't good, I'd be a wreck and all the stuff. If we got into a little argument, my whole world, I'd be upset about everything. I couldn't function. And I am not necessarily an advocate or not an advocate for 12-step. I think it works for some people miraculously. But for me personally, I think it's one of the best places to break your vicious cycle because, and I know it's anonymous, and so I'm not going to say any names, but I do believe it's important as a doctor of divinity for me to explain some of the benefits of a 12-step, because when you go into a room, whether it be in alcoholism, which I'm not an alcoholic, but if you go in for codependency and you truly want to break your vicious cycle around relationships, it's great because you get to listen to other people's stories and you get to tell your story and you get to see how it's all kind of the same story in different forms. There is a very typical cycle to dysfunctional relationships and codependency. Very common. And so you begin to see the vicious cycle and you go, yeah, I'm not going to do that again. Because you go, I know exactly where this is going, because you can see someone come in. There's like different aspects of the cycle. There's a little romantic makeup stage. There's a breakup stage. There's fighting stages. There's all this stuff, the merry-go-round of vicious cycles. And so what I know for sure is that for me, peace has to be my primary golden rule. We say the golden rule is to be, do unto others as you want to have done unto yourself. And yes, but I believe the primary golden rule is to love thyself. Because if you don't love yourself, you can't even love your neighbor. It's impossible. So how do you love yourself and place boundaries on people? And when you make loving yourself a priority, placing boundaries upon others becomes clear. And this is how. For me, when I was breaking that cycle, when I first saw my cycle and I decided, okay, and we know the first step in awakening to anything is waking up. So it's a big decision. So at first I had to just look at it and wake up to the fact, like, this is dysfunctional. This area of my life is not going to change until I change myself. And in that, I realized that I had to put peace, loving myself, as my number one priority. And so it was very simple. In any relationship, I had to go, if there's a place that I'm not able to hold peace within myself, then I've got to hold the boundary. One or the other, right? I either hold my boundary or I have peace, one or the other, if it's an area where I couldn't stay peaceful within myself, okay? So knowing that, let's get into the daily universal law, because this is very important to this topic, okay? So today we align with the law of harmony. The law of harmony. And I truly believe that if you think about how to align with universal law, it comes down to really primary words like love, harmony, order, things like that, because there is a divine order to this universe. The extent to which you create harmony is the extent to which you will experience your free will. There is a standard we have created and demands that we create in harmony to be unbound. The universe is constantly guiding you towards a harmonious life, okay? So through freedom of choice, you have the ability to arrange things in such a way as to set in motion a series of causation that will harmonize your own conditions without antagonizing the like power of others. So the point is this: how do you hold your own harmony? How do you hold what works for you in this life and not cause disruption to somebody else's reality, right? And vice versa. If somebody is in your life, whether it be an intimate relationship, your partner, your wife, your, mother, your whatever, whoever it is that's in your life, are they able to be in your life without really antagonizing your own experience? And if somebody keeps going into your boundaries and pushing you and doing things that make you experience, discord and not having peace in your life, then guess what? You got to learn how to put boundaries. And boundaries does not mean you don't love someone. Sometimes boundaries means I can't have this person in my life and I still love them unconditionally. That happened to me. That's definitely one person in my life I had to do that to, okay? There's other people that you have to have boundaries on. Maybe it's that you only spend so much time with them. You can't entangle with them. I don't know what that is for you, but I know for certain there's divine right action within you. So the law of harmony is really about getting clear on that, okay? So I'm going to take you through a fun little process which changed my life in the realm of codependency, where I could actually know who needs to be able to, can stay in my life fully, and who do I have to put boundaries on, and who do I need to not have in my life, okay? So here's a little fun challenge. I actually invite you to take out a piece of paper, and I want you to write kind of 3 different lines, 2 lines, so you have 3 different spaces on your page. And what I want you to do is write down 3 things. On the top left, put your must-haves. Middle is deal breakers, and right is ideal scene. So what I want you to do is your must-haves in your relationship. So whether it be in your intimate relationship, what are your must-haves? In your friendships, what are your must-haves? And you need to communicate these to those people. Like, this is something that is not, I have to have this. I have to have good communication. We have to communicate every once in a while, whatever that is. And then next row is your deal breakers. Is somebody doing drugs? Is somebody abusive? Is somebody dropping out of communication for a long time, whatever that may be, your deal breakers. And you need to let people know, these are my deal breakers. And if you do my deal breakers, then I can't have you in my life all the time. No offense. It's just that I have to have peace within myself, right? And next, on the right-hand side, put your ideal scene. So your ideal scene is really your dream. Like, what does that look like for you? Okay, so those three things. So put down, this is your daily spiritual practice. And I want you to actually live this. So your daily spiritual practice is to take this into your life every day. Looking at this list and going out in your life and practicing. Are you being clear about your must-haves, your deal breakers, and your ideal scene? Okay. Are you communicating this to people? Okay. And then next, because we're running out of time, is the daily challenge. So today I invite you in this game of life is to do one thing today to love yourself. One thing today to love yourself. So take a bath, go for a walk, make some tea, light a candle, or whatever it takes to feel peaceful and to heal and have harmony in your life. Okay. So thank you so much, you guys. This is Dr. Erin. You can find me across social media. You can find me at drerin.tv. You can find me at erinfallhaskell.com. And please, I'd love to have you involved with our different communities. If you like this, please like, share, and comment on this. Please give us a great review on the podcast if you're listening to it that way. And have a wonderful, wonderful day. And please, may you love yourself and may you love others unconditionally with boundaries.